What's up, everybody? It's your man Dame DNYDC. Two mics up. So there you have it. We are now officially here. Super Bowl weekend, the countdown. This is the last one. Tonight, I'm going to be rocking with my man, Sam Adams. I'm going to bring Sam to the mic. Sam, what's going on with you, man? I know we was laughing and joking backstage. I'm going to go ahead and let you jump out there because I think you might be right.
Oh, yeah. So first and foremost, any opinions that are expressed today by Dame NYC and Osar Sam Adams has nothing to do with the NFL. You know what I'm saying? This is just totally off the rockers because, if y'all have been here on items as far as like the Super Bowl and everything, y'all know how we roll. So there's no sportscaster out there. These are not funded by any of your power sports channels. So let's go ahead and rock with it.
All right. So there you have it, Sam. I appreciate the disclaimer, because we are not looking to be held responsible. Myself, Sam, nor two mics up. We just want to have a little fun, though, talk a little sports. We hope you enjoy, tonight's content. It's Friday night. I know you could be anywhere and if you're taking time out to join us, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead and drop some hellos in the chat. I see a couple of people have joined us. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're from. Holla at us real quick. And we're gonna go ahead and we just gonna go ahead and dive in, man, because like I said, in that intro, this is it, Sam. This the last one.
The last dance. I'm repping my Packers stuff, but this is gonna be shelved probably for the next couple of years.
And we're gonna talk about that because like real talk, man. Like I was gonna put on my Giants gear, and I said nah, only because and this is where it's tough being in the same division with the Eagles. You want to be a homer, but you really can't be a homer,
right?
So I want to go in this weekend as a fan, right?
Right.
But when you look at both teams, and I want to start here,
okay,
and tell me your thoughts. I'm gonna throw it out to you first. We saw both games, and I'm gonna start like Kansas City. Mahomes came out, nobody expected him to be, able to play. First of all,
right.
And he looked good for about 3 quarters, man. Whatever they shot him up with, or whatever they did with him for 3 quarters, man.
We know what they did in the
right. But
we are with that. Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that, but we know what happened.
Right. Mm-hmm. But the way he came out, man, looked sharp and everything. But I'm just curious to know from your opinion, like, because health is everything this time of year, and both teams are banged up. But just from the Chiefs standpoint, like, do you think or do you feel that they'll be even healthy enough to beat the Eagles this weekend?
All right. I've been talking about this all week in my office, and the only thing that I can say is that, oh man, and I don't even want to be rude like that, but there is no reason Philly should win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
If Philly do not win the Super Bowl, when you look at both teams and you look at like who's injured more, Kansas City is like depleted with an offensive line. They're unless their weapons come back, I really haven't been paying attention this week as far as like their receivers and everything. I think they're hobbled on their secondary and on defense too. So with that being said, like Philly still got like everything.
Right.
So this is really Philly's Super Bowl. And granted, like I ain't putting nothing past Patrick Mahomes and his talent and his art, but like that Philly D is nasty, man. Oh man, I didn't realize it because like who did they play? Who did they get a smackdown to? Was it the Giants.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Man, they owned us like we were stepkids, man.
And I was confused because I was looking at it and I was like, damn, like the Giants just gave the Vikings, somebody needed to call like social services or something, the way that they were being abused on the field. So it had me perplexed because I was just like, are the Giants that good, or is just the NFC North just that bad? You know what I'm saying? And like I was in that dilemma. But yeah, like I'm going for Philly. Like that's
so I agree with you, right? And just like real talk. So like you talk about, so I'm not gonna lie, when the playoffs rolled around, I was glad we got Minnesota because Minnesota didn't scare nobody. That record was
I agree.
Right. And to some degree, even ours. Like, look, I'm gonna be honest, as a Giants fan, we overachieved and the guys bought in to what Coach Dabo was, what he was putting down, right? I'm just gonna call it what it, because we really don't have no receivers outside of Saquon Barkley. When he wasn't on the field, we looked like trash. I will say, no, just call it what it is. Danny Dimes stepped up when he needed to, and he made the move. But I'm hesitant on Danny Dimes really being our guy, right? I'm still hesitant. I just got to be honest. But he stepped up. Our defense stepped up. And like I said, in the playoffs, Minnesota, like 3 weeks before, they only beat us by a field goal, at the end of the game.
Right.
So going back into the matchup, that was a no-brainer. I give Coach Dabo all the credit in the world. I think he's a great tactician. He understands, how to game plan. And we just came, we were just better prepared, and Minnesota didn't scare nobody. Right. Now, however, again, being in the same division with the Eagles, for whatever reason, we just do not, and I'm match up well with the Eagles. And they took us to the shed, the wood shed, whatever shed you wanted to go to, and there was assault. There was assault on that Sunday, and they showed why they've been the best team, in my opinion, in the NFC all year. And
I feel like the word assault is like an understatement. Like,
look, I'm trying to be nice here because man, look, they took it to us, bro. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But and I know some San Francisco fans will say that they feel like they were cheated or well, they were slighted. Look, that's just the way that the game played, right? The offensive line didn't show up.
To be fair, you can't say that you're slighted with a third string quarterback that don't nobody know. Because when they announced what's his name, Josh Johnson, I was
the traveling man.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Yo, and then when they brought up his track record, they was like, this is his 13th team in 10 years. I was counting on my fingers like something they added up right here. Like,
right. You thought Ryan Fitzpatrick was bad, and then here is Josh Johnson. He's a traveling man, so I get it. So in all of that to be said, I agree with you in this game with the Eagles D, right? I think in the San Francisco game, they had like 3 sacks, and I'm just kind of looking at my notes. 3 sacks in that game alone, but 70 across the season. I mean, that's just crazy, right? And then when you look at the impact of like some of the signings that they made to their defense this year, they have a lot of rotational players that really they can rest 3 or 4 guys at a time. So just on that fact alone, defense wins championships. I don't care what anybody says. Usually the defense is going to carry you to the win. Now on the offensive side, and I want to say too, I want to shout out not only because it's Black History Month, but we have 2 black quarterbacks showing up, starting in the Super Bowl, first time ever. Patrick Mahomes, the $500 million man, because he's gonna have to come out like the $500 million man on Sunday for them to have a chance to win. But I said this before when we did the show. We did this last year, and Antoine was on. Shout out to Antoine, my barber, my stylist, and everything.
What up, Antoine?
He from Philly, right? And I said it then. I thought in our division, I felt that Jalen Hurts was the best quarterback. And some people thought that was crazy, but they went out and got him a number 1 receiver in AJ Brown. That 3-headed, monster in the backfield. And if you throw him in the mix, I mean, it's devastating because you don't know where it's coming from. And then there's some other tools. I just think on all 3 sides of the ball, we didn't even talk about special teams.
No.
I just think on all three sides of the ball, right now, today, as things are constructed going into Sunday, I think Philly by far is the best is the best team. And I too, we're gonna get into picks, but I know I'm leaning one way just like you are. And talking about quarterback, Sam, so like speak on that though. Like the spotlight is really gonna be on, Jalen and Patrick.
Right.
From what we already know, and when I say no, I think from just what your eyes tell you about each guy. But what do you think each one brings, maybe as an intangible or something else that can help maybe potentially put their team over the top come Sunday?
I don't know. Patrick is more of he's like a magician, so we never know like what's going to happen when he gets the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He can have a play for a deep fade, and then next thing you know, he does like a little quick shuffle pass. And I mean, but when you look at Jalen, like he's the hybrid. I mean, there was other makes and models like him, but he's just the 2023 version of it.
Right.
Whether you look at Michael Vick, whether you look at Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar Jackson accuracy is still kind of spotty, or take it back to Cap. You know what I'm saying? We thought the era of a mobile quarterback was going to be like a dying breed, but he like reinvigorated that stuff. And I think the thing that trumps him is just that cannon of an arm that he got too, with the accuracy that goes with it. And like you said, he was gifted AJ Brown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and just to think about like that culmination of the both of them and everything, and the damage that they've been doing together throughout the whole season, and then that opens up the rest of the receivers that's floating around too. You know what I'm saying? You still got Goddard. You know, and that's going to be a good matchup. To me, that's going to be the quarterbacks are always going to be on the spotlight because we're going to try to figure out who trumps who first.
Right.
It's just that, like, I feel like Philly's offense is just healthier than what the weapons that Kansas City has at the time. So that's going to be, for me, the biggest challenge. I know that Andy Reid and Patrick's going to make it do what it do, but I mean, if you get hurt started, like it's going to be trouble for everybody. We're going to be throwing in that towel again. Like, please make this stop. Please.
Yeah, I mean the same thing. Like when I put the spotlight on, like I agree with you. Like what you say, you hit it on the head. Like Patrick Mahomes is a magician back then. I think, and I want to put it on his baseball background. Like he does a lot of things with the football situations of pressure, like a shortstop would. The passes that he falling down or almost on one knee, the sidearm angles, just the way that he plays sometimes, just reminds me of his baseball background. I think, and I'm going to be honest, if when I look at Kansas City this year, like this is what 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 4 over the last several years, going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I want to say I truly believe offensively, I think this is the best offense that he's had because now it's just not predicated on Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. He does have other guys and Juju and Scantling, and I know that they're not pop names, and they've shown us that they still have tendencies to drop, but with McKinnon coming out the backfield, Pacheco coming out, I think there's more versatility in their offense where now you can't just sit back and sit on one, even though instinct is to go to Kelsey over the middle. That's where he's going. But I just think they're more diverse this year than they've been in the past. Maybe not as explosive, but diverse. On the flip side, Jalen to me, and I go back and I think we talked about this on one of the shows or one of the specials. Even coming out of college, looks, it sucks that injury kind of set him back in a way where Tua kind of took the spotlight in Alabama. But I always thought Jalen was the better quarterback.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm not saying athlete. I'm just saying, just from a quarterback standpoint, from somebody that can stand in the pocket, not need his athleticism to get him out of the pocket. like you brought up Lamar. I think yes, Jalen is a better pocket passer than Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the tools in a number one until we saw it. Everybody was like, "Where'd this guy come from?" Like, what do you mean? He's always been that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But any team that doesn't have a number one, i.e., New York Giants, yeah, just
Or
being
number
honest,
two.
right? You know what I'm saying? Just that really makes or break your quarterback,
Right.
by having that. So Jalen, I think, is the guy, and like you said, with the other weapons, they have Goddard at the tight end. People sleeping on, and this is my X factor, which Devontae Smith coming out of
Oh
playing.
yeah, and they're ex teammates too,
Yeah, man. And to me,
so they already
if the
got that
game is close,
chemistry with each other.
so to me, that's the X factor. If the game is close,
Right.
I think it breaks down to that. Devontae being the X factor for Philly in a close game. Now, we were talking, like you saying, talking at work. I'm curious, like, do you think this will be a high scoring game? And if it is a high scoring game, who do you think it benefits more?
If it's a high scoring game, I don't know because what you call it, we already know Philly could score.
Right. I had the same conversation. I'm just asking. Somebody asked me the same thing, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But
Yeah, but I think that it will favor Philly because, like, look at the past few games that KC been playing. I mean, they've been what, like 20, 25,
right,
maybe 31 points.
right,
But like, I mean, like I said, it would just take some costly mistakes for Kansas City to do, and we already know that Philly could capitalize on that.
mm-hmm.
And if Philly comes over here and capitalize on that, that's going to be a long game for doggone KC.
Whew.
I don't think that they've been challenged a lot, and they've been like they should have lost against Cincy.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
it was Cincy being reckless.
Mm-hmm.
It was Cincy being reckless that came over there and cost them that game. Those last two penalties that they had,
Yep.
that shit stung for me. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you, Cliff. That
Yep.
that, that Philly D is different, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and as much as we're sitting here and we're commending, um, we're commending Patrick for being that magician. If he's reckless, you know what I'm saying? Because we've seen him on
And
many
we've seen it.
occasions.
And we've seen it though. We've seen when he get reckless.
Yeah, we've seen him many occasions when he's reckless and he gets a pickle and everything. And if he gets into those vines and everything, whew.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
be a long day
like
for them.
he's gonna have to be that field general. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? He can still pull out a little magic or pizzazz, but he doesn't need to sit here and get desperate too at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because once he start doing that, we seen it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
We seen that story before.
Don't make us sit here and change the channel early. You know what I'm saying? Like keep it as spicy as possible. But
You ain't never lie, because that could be the worst thing on Sunday. Everybody
oh
sitting
yeah,
around with their hands in their pocket or
yeah.
outside watching pickleball or something.
Hey,
I
look,
mean,
I don't want it to be 4 interceptions by Patrick by the halftime. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, Philly's up by like 35 or something like that, and we're just like,
Yeah.
what is going on right now?
For real,
Because they were never catch up. I will say
Mhm.
that much. Like Philly, the way Philly been playing, if they sit here and put their foot on your neck, they're gonna keep on
Yeah,
pressing. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I mean, I
Cliff about
can't.
to say it. Cliff over here speaking facts. He talking about that flea flicker pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there for you, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they've done it before, man, and people sleep on it.
Yeah.
You know, talking about X factors too. So, I brought up Devontae on Philly side.
Yeah.
Who do you think? I have an idea of an X factor for KC. But I'm curious to know what do you think? Like who needs to show up outside of Patrick and Jalen, like we talked about, for KC to really have the stand firm ground, in this game.
It's gonna have to be McKinnon.
Mm,
I mean, like he's really that Swiss Army knife. I mean, he's filling in that role that Tyreek Hill
yeah,
used to have, but he's filling in that role well too.
yeah,
So they're gonna have to utilize him on all facets, whether it's putting him in a slot, sitting here and utilizing them in the backfield. You know, even though I think they have a 1-2 punch as far as like backs, but he's going to have to be that guy in order for them to get by. And don't get me wrong, like I like Juju Smith-Schuster. I was pissed off when we got rid of MS or Scantling, MVS.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I was upset as a Packers fan that we let him go. But I think those receivers, like if they get an opportunity, they're not going to have. They can't. If they get hit right in the numbers, you got to catch that ball.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Numbers, all that they got to hold on to it.
They have no room for error come doggone Sunday night, so they're going to have to step up too. But if you're talking about that premier, like it has to be the McKinnon show. So it has to get to the point that we're not even thinking about Tyreek Hill.
And see that, like I agree. Like on the offensive side, like when I thought about the matchup, and like I said earlier, I think versatility wise. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sam, he die hard.
We gonna get. Hey, look, it's on this side.
Yeah, he got his green. He got but he said he might have had to go to the closet after the season. But we're gonna talk about Sam and his Packers. But one of the things that I looked at, like I said, when I talked earlier about KC, I was focused on offense. Like I do think they're more versatile. I think they do have more weapons, and I agree with you. Between McKinnon, and this is just me out of the backfield, I think McKinnon and Pacheco, because of their versatility, I think KC has to lean on that. But to me, when I looked at the big picture, and the one thing, like it comes back to like what we've been talking about tonight, I think Kansas City's defense has got to be the X factor. I'm talking about all 11 guys they got to show up, man. They got to bring they hats, they pits, they buckets, they boots, whatever it is, they shovels, whatever it is that they got to do, because they're going up. What we've seen so far of Philly, when Jalen Hurts has been healthy as a unit, that offense is a juggernaut. And Kansas City's Achilles as great as they've been, the one year that they won the Super Bowl was really their defense carried them. But the rest of the time, their defense has been almost non-existent. And I think for them to even remotely have a chance, because we can have a shootout all day. Even if the Philly defense came in drunk and hungover and they didn't have enough, or they ate too many Philly subs on the way to the game, you know, I just think if it's down to one or two drives, Philly's gonna win. You know, and I think their defense at the end of the day can stop KC if the game was on the line. So I'm putting the money on not even the money, the pressure on KC's defense to stop that Philly juggernaut. Because if not, I'm like you, I might just be standing around with my hands in my pocket waiting to see Riri at halftime and then call it a day. Yeah, like just keep it real.
Hey, look, once we get through that first half of commercials, if it's a landslide, I ain't watching no more.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm keep it fun.
I'm keeping it real with you. I'm with you, man. Keep it spicy and all that.
I ain't got no dog in this fight. You know what I'm saying? So there's only two things that I'm here for: commercials and halftime. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully it's going to be a good game. And if I can get those, then I'm straight.
That's it. I agree with you. So I want to transition then, you know, as we're talking about the NFL and the 22-23 season.
Okay.
There were some things that I think I like to think of most overrated type teams, players, and things of the such. So we're going to go through a little show here, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And I want to start with the most overrated team. And I just threw out a couple. And I'm just out a couple. Man. And it may not be any of these, but I went with Baltimore.
Okay.
Tampa with the Brady saga. Dak and them Cowboys, excuse me. Sam, I really thought about your Packers, man, because there was a whole lot going on with that one. And to end it with Russell Wilson, those were the five that kind of came to my mind first.
Right.
Do you want to go with any of those, or do you have one or two of your own that maybe you feel were the most overrated team for the 22-23 season?
I would say Dallas.
Yeah. How about them boys, Jer?
And this is no disrespect. Like, I'm not even going to factor in Denver gave up too much.
Yeah.
for Russ. So we already knew that they were out the pocket. And if you peel the onion back, don't forget, like they lost their 3 top receivers and a running back
Right.
prior to preseason. They were at
Right.
training camp and they lost all of them. Let me see. Doggone Tampa, like de-shelved their whole team. So like they were remnant. No, I take that back. I think they brought everybody back to try to run it back.
They tried to run it back. Yep.
They weren't. Oh, so that could be it. How you invest in everyone and
You're right, Cliff.
get nothing out of it. Yeah, exactly. The only reason why I bring up the Cowboys is because it's like every year it's the same with the Cowboys.
Yep.
With like this year is our year. And before I even get to them, like let me peel the onion back. The Packers knew that we didn't have anything. If there's no Devontae Adams, there's no run at the table this year.
Right.
And then I think about everything that we lost, and it was all because of Aaron Rodgers and being indecisive of what he wanted to do with coming back.
Right.
So we lost everybody. We lost core defensive players. We lost Jamal Williams. We lost Scatling. We lost another receiver that ended up in Detroit. So like we just got like depleted, and we were sitting here playing pickup because didn't nobody know. If I'm an athlete, I want to know where my star player is going to be at.
Right.
And he couldn't even make up his damn mind to the last minute. So that's why we lost so much. So I already went into the season knowing where we were going. You know what I'm saying?
Did you expect it to be this bad though? And not this bad, but this rough. Did you really see it? Because I thought it was going to be tough, but not as tough as it was in Green Bay.
I expected it to be rough just for the simple fact that we didn't take advantage of free agency twice. We didn't take advantage of it before the start of the season. It did midway through. We never took advantage of it either. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't understand Green Bay's mantra of like everything has to be homegrown from inside. And you're putting pressure on like rookie receivers who didn't start getting a mojo until like halfway through the doggone season. Like, no disrespect against Dobbs and Watson. Love them. And I think that they got a future, but we put our eggs in a basket way too early on them too. When they still had some developing that they needed to sit here and do. And we invested in Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I look when I saw that one, I was like, don't everybody know Sammy Watkins retired? He retired.
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row we came over there and we invested in, I don't want to say washed up, but past their prime receivers with Funches.
Yep.
We grabbed him from I can't remember if he was in San Diego or Carolina at the time.
I think he was in San Diego because he had went. They traded him to San Diego.
And what did he do for us that year?
He funked it up.
He didn't do anything. And then we get Sammy Watkins. I'm like over here watching Sammy Watkins back in Baltimore,
right?
In the playoffs. And I'm like, you didn't even like sit up that one time in the Green Bay uniform. I was like salty at that. But I'm peeling the onion back. So it's close. I agree with Cliff to an extent about Tampa Bay, but like it's just like Dallas is Dallas. Like they are overrated every year.
Agreed.
Every year is the same thing. And then when you look at strength of schedule too, like they typically have the easiest. I don't know what Jerry Jones got going on.
He paying that money. He paying that
year
money.
After year, he has the easiest strength of schedule. So of course, so you really don't get challenged until the playoffs.
And that's facts right there. I look. So I'm with you. You know, I think Dallas is a gimme every year.
Yeah.
Just on what you said. The most overrated team in America. They want to call themselves America's team, whatever. So be it. Overrated. Highly overrated. I will say. So I agree with you. Like Tampa, I just think Tampa gets overrated just because, because of Brady, you know, and they were running it back. And I wasn't surprised by the blow up, to be honest with you. He just didn't look right from the time he came back. He looked different. He looked frail. He looked like mentally he was in another place. So I wasn't really surprised, but I was surprised just by the pure talent that they had. I was surprised that they struggled. I thought talent, you know, usually they say talent rises to the top. The cream
Yeah,
rises to the
it'll
top.
carry you over. If you got the right
Yeah,
talent, it'll
yeah.
carry you over.
But for whatever reason, there obviously was more toxic cancer in that locker room than probably what we probably even realized. But out of that list, once I removed them, and even Green Bay, again, we want to give Aaron Rodgers so much credit. No disrespect, Sam, of his greatness. I just kind of expected that they would at least right the ship towards the end of the season.
Here's where, and I'm not trying to cut you off, but here's where I fell off. Aaron has become more of a individual accolades. Because even when it came to talking about whether or not he would play in the 2023-2024 season, he was like, I think I have another shot at becoming MVP. You know what I'm saying? I think that I could play up to MVP caliber. I don't need you to play as an MVP. I need a Super Bowl.
Need a Super Bowl, right?
As a Packer fan, I want a Super Bowl. I don't give a damn about doggone MVP. That's cute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
and
if you don't bring
that's a personal accolade.
If you don't bring that shit, like we ain't got nothing else.
Right. I agree. And like I said, I just expected a little bit more. And like I said, being a Packer fan, I know you look at it totally true. And I mean, yeah, it's no disrespect, you know what I'm saying?
No, not taking
none whatsoever,
Not taking I will sit here, and if they tell me Jordan Love was going to be our starter next year, I would sigh right quick, but I would be like, okay. Because I think
he's ready.
It's due. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to have to sit here and get his shine eventually. So we need that.
Yep. So once I peel back really those three, to me, I had to look at Baltimore. Baltimore is in that next phase of teams where I just don't understand the disconnect with the talent. And again, you look at it on paper, the run game, I actually think Lamar is a better pocket passer than what people think. And I just don't understand why Harbaugh does not, or not even Harbaugh, but why Baltimore just doesn't get this guy some receivers. Let's take the pressure off him of being on the sidelines when it counts. Because every year it seems like, he kind of like Chris Paul to me. He always gets a flat tire come, late in the season when it's playoff time. He's always hurt when it counts. But I have to put part of that on the coaching. He does not need to be behind center and taking off running. Man, why isn't somebody in his ear during the week telling him, okay, look, man, we need you. If the play is broken down, don't exert yourself. Throw the ball away. Look at RG3. They folded him like a lawn chair, and he's been on somebody's front lawn for the last 10 years. I mean, or however long it's been. Coach him and let him play quarterback. So to me, the biggest disappointment has been outside of Dallas, America's team, you suck. I mean, disappointment. I would have to put Baltimore on that list as this year for me.
I can't do that though. Like Baltimore was plagued with a lot of injuries and everything too, so it's no.
But I think the injuries came from like just the way. Look, I love it. I love the tough nose football, right?
Yeah.
But when you bang your players into a wall consistently, we're not machines, and injuries just happen. And look, it could be freak accidents, whatever. But I just think, he's so tough nosed. These injuries, I think, sometimes are brought on just from the exertion of the work.
Okay.
And just looking at their body of work from the time that they've been in the Super Bowl last to where we are now, like to me, I think Baltimore should have been representing the AFC at least in a championship game level more than they have. And I understand Tam's got that look. Shout out to Cincinnati, great work. Buffalo's been putting in the work. But I just think, Baltimore had that window.
They lost it.
And they lost it. And
they probably lost it like 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And that's just keeping it funky. Like, we will always look at Baltimore as being a contender, you know what I'm saying, to the playoffs, but as like a Super Bowl perennial until they restructure it. Like, it's always good. They're becoming like Pittsburgh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Pittsburgh is crazy how we look at like towards the end of the season, and then next thing you know, like they're in a talk of like making it. They become a factor into the playoffs and all that stuff. That's what Baltimore is becoming right now.
Yeah, I mean, facts, Cliff. I mean, that Baltimore D was always, a terror, for
Mhm.
teams and things like that. But between like a lot of things, like I said, just this year alone, honestly, I had Baltimore as one of my dark horse teams coming out,
Yeah.
surprising everybody, this year, but didn't happen. So I want to change lanes real quick. So we talk about overrated teams.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and let's get to the overrated players.
Oh, you already got it with that. Man in the middle. We don't even need to go in. Hey, look.
I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna pull this one back.
Hey, look, I'm not even worried about Javion Clowney because he hasn't been a factor since he played in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you might as well just take him off the table. But wait, who else did you have up there? Go ahead.
So
I on the screen one more time. Let me see.
I had.
Boom, boom,
I'm
boom,
sorry,
boom.
my bad.
Yeah, let me go
I
back.
had
Okay.
Russell Wilson,
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey, Dak, Kyler Murray, and Javion Clowney.
Right. Yeah, I'm sticking with Dak. And the only reason why I'm sticking with Dak is because you get paid all that money and you have one job and one job only, and that's to bring Jerry Jones a ring, and you didn't deliver. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Once again, like, I don't know. I'm scared to say Russell Wilson because I feel like his true colors are actually showing, and we're
Really?
not giving. Who's the coach over there in Seattle?
Pete
Um,
Carroll.
yeah, I don't think we're giving Pete Carroll the flowers that he deserves.
Mm.
So just think about the system. And granted, like I said, I keep on throwing this asterisk out there because like Russ doesn't have his full weapons. And hopefully with Gary Payton or Sean Payton as his doggone new head coach
Mm-hmm.
and the team that they're bringing up there, like it's going to shed a new light.
Mm-hmm.
But like, did that money make? But that's just like asking, did that money make Dak overrated?
Mm.
I'm not saying
Good
the
question,
cash
Cliff.
made him overrated.
Good
I just
question.
think that, you know, Dak is just like any other athlete
Right.
because I think his accolades was based on the I don't want to say accessories. Everything was based on his surroundings, his
His
supporting
surroundings. Right.
cast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Dak just wanted to go away and be like, I could do this in any system.
Right.
Shit probably backfired on him. And that's why we're stuck the way that we are right now. But like, just think about it. Dak had a max contract.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He's getting like 100 up front, and they splitting up that 35 mil or 45 mil for the rest of the of his increments and everything.
Right.
And where it mattered most, which is the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a 13-3 season.
Yeah, but you're not winning in the playoffs. Winning.
There's no. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But if you can't take that to the next level and win a ring, that's going to be the issue. And he done had back-to-back seasons that was like plus 500. Everybody has that expectation of like the Cowboys are going to finally do it, and here we are. You know what I'm saying? He comes over here and throw 2-3 pickles, have a couple of fumbles. Jerry Jones over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this coonery and all that stuff. All upset. You over here? He got rid of Kellen Moore because he can't do nothing with that
he can't do nothing with that. I agree with you. I agree. And again, and that one, I will say, Dak was a go for it. Like that was a soft pick. I think everybody outside of Dallas and outside of Jura would be a consensus on Dak. And I will say this from a sports fan, I think Dak deserved the money that he got. A lot of people will disagree with me.
I disagree.
But so let me clarify why I say because that's what the market called for. I don't control the market.
Yeah, but this ain't the NBA though. NBA throw out back steals at everybody.
What
what I'm saying?
But the quarterback is what makes the engine drive.
But the quarterback got to show their worth. And if you're only showing your worth from week 1 to week 17, that's not enough because we need championships.
Well, see, now that's where I will agree with you. You and I, as fans, we want championships. We want to be able to run. I want to be able to run out here in the street and rep my Giants. Or you want to be out here in the street, you want to rep the Packers, right?
Right.
Now, maybe for Jared right now, it might be good enough to just get butts in the seat for 17 weeks, in that supersized stadium. And you know what I'm saying? And he may be good with that. I agree with you, but Dak should have gotten the money. And and then there's those
for loyalty alone.
well, because I mean look, Dak's a homer, right? Let's just
I
he broke his
mean,
ankle the year before. He was having a great year before he broke that ankle. I got Cowboy fans. Look, I think I know the whole story, inside and out from that. And that what Cliff just said,
I
they call it
okay.
loyalty, is why he got paid.
All right. But loyalty only takes you so far. Like,
come on, Sarge.
hey, Cliff.
Play with the chest, Sarge. You know.
Hey, look, Cliff, I'm mad that you made that statement, bro. Like, I love you to death, man. But, like, hey, look, hey, loyalty ain't bringing championships right now. Hey, look, I'm telling you right now, everybody is on watch right now. Mm-hmm. All right? Everyone, Zeke is on watch. Mike McCarthy is on watch. And Dak is on watch. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If they don't capitalize next year, all of them are going to be gone.
Oh, yeah, they're all gone. They're all gone.
Right off the rip. I thought I came over there before Sean Payton came over there and decided that he was going to Denver. I thought that there was going to be a head coach change in Dallas with Sean Payton.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You know what I'm saying? I was waiting on that. I was like, Sean Payton just on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting here wishing San Fran all the luck in the world. Right. You know what I'm saying? To sit here and watch on Dallas because he was going to move right on in, but it didn't happen. And I was like, okay. When I heard he was going to Denver, I was like, well, that's weird, but okay, I can see him like reshaping that because everyone's going to want to go to and play for him.
Exactly. And
you know what I'm saying?
So that leads me though. You kind of led me right into it. I think, overrated. I want to say Russell Wilson. I just think because the change of scenery, because let people tell you prior to this season, when the season started, Denver had one of the best defenses that you had ever seen in a long time. Right. They were young, they were fast, and then they claimed that they had some of the best receivers. And Sutton and the other young fella and tight end and all this.
It was like Sutton, Pullman. It was like a gang of them.
Yeah, it was a gang of them, right?
Yeah, but they all got hurt. They ain't
what? Well, see, here's my thing. Okay,
hey, look, how we going to push this? How we going to drive this truck with 4 flat tires?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Look, we did it in New Jersey. We did it in New York. We ain't got no tires, and Danny Dimes drove that no tire vehicle into the playoffs.
Hey, you like we on roller skates right now? What you talking about?
Facts. We ain't had nothing. So, but and Russell comes in with a greater resume, if you will.
Right.
Than Danny Dimes. So, and I like Russell, and I'll be the first one. I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. Just look, keep it real. It's a brother. All right, keep it real. I'm a huge fan of his. But I was so shocked because like age, and I'm speaking now from my reality. Yeah. Age creeps up on you. Like age is not fun.
No,
and
not at
he
all.
just looks so old, so slow. So indecisive. He did not look like a Super Bowl winning quarterback or a guy that for basically, I mean, if we want to keep it real, for it seemed like the better part of 5 to 7 years was always a part of the MVP conversation.
Yeah, but you know what messed that up? You know what messed that up?
Talk to me.
The line. You know what depleted over there? Like everything was relying on Seattle and their Legion of Boom, right? But eventually their Legion of Boom even got older.
True.
And everybody decided to sit here and part ways and go to different teams, move down to doggone the Rams, San Fran, stay within that NFC a dome or whatever.
Right.
But they never capitalized or strengthened their offensive line. You know what the biggest issue was? When he was in Denver, his offensive line, minus his receivers being gone and not having a running back, he didn't have no offensive line.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That hurt him.
Oh, I mean, it did. We saw when he got concussed.
Yeah. He got concussed a few times. Like there was the pass rush was violent and he was getting sacked like all the time. He didn't have the weapons to throw it down the field. But he didn't have the protection that he needed for him to attempt to throw the ball downfield.
Yeah,
and then he ended up getting a snuff.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was ugly.
I felt like I was watching David Carr all over. Yeah, David, not Derek.
David Carr.
David Carr.
Right, right. The
David Carr
original
got
Carr.
sacked. Yeah, David Carr got sacked so many times he had PTSD.
Yeah, I mean, and he probably still has it to this day.
Still to this day. I brought the story up because I remember when he was a backup for New York under Eli.
Yeah.
And they brought him in. I don't know if Eli got hurt or something like that.
Bruh,
but
look,
he came over there and like it was a rush on him, and he dropped like a sack of potatoes real quick.
He did, man.
I was like, man, but it was because of he was like consecutively when he was in Houston, he led every year. He led the league in sacks every year, and I felt bad for him because he had so much potential. But like we said, he was damaged goods.
So, Cliff, you bring up a great question, and I had this conversation actually this week as well about Russell and what team would he have been successful on. So I'm gonna be honest, because there's a team in our division called the Commodores, the Commanders, that I think Russell would have been a better fit, only because part of what you said, I think they really had, and they showed it once they got rid of Carson Wentz. Once they got rid of Carson,
the disrespect.
Carson stinks. And Philly knows it. Carson stinks. Once they committed to their run game, I think the Commodores had a great run game. They were stout in their run game, and I think Russell could have really played well off of that because they had a lot of that in Seattle. A lot of play action. They were heavy on the run. And I think that he would have definitely fit here in the DC area. But they missed the window. You let some people tell you here in the DC area that they're thankful. I don't know how you're thankful when you had a guy that sat around. He was the greatest water boy for $28 million. I mean, couldn't have hurt, but I think that would have been the better fit. Just my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. I was shocked that they didn't pick up on that because I'm like, they went through like 3 quarterbacks between Pollard, Heineke, and Wentz. Wentz is damaged goods. Like,
he's broken. But somebody's gonna pick him up though.
Of course. Of course, there's going to be a team that's going to sit out here and be desperate.
Yep.
They're going to need a QB, and we go to see him, and we probably go to see him for like 3 games. And then next thing you know, he's going to be injured again. And we'll probably see him at like the tail end of a season somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's the luxury of some of these quarterbacks because to be fair, he shouldn't even be in the league right now.
To be honest,
what I'm saying?
He shouldn't be. He really shouldn't.
Because what have he shown as once again as a field general? What has Carson Wentz shown to anybody that he's like a top premier quarterback that should be starting? Nothing. Because it doesn't matter where he goes. There's another quarterback that would come in and have equal or better gameplay than him. And like show up and show out. You know who else shouldn't even be in the league anymore right now? Matty Ice.
Oh, I knew you was going to Indy.
I would say that.
Yeah,
I'm not even a Colts fan, but my wife is, right?
I agree.
But they had 2 starters on that team that should have been on the field way before him. When he got picked up for a year, I was like, why?
Yeah,
why are we giving that man the chance? Because he hasn't recovered from that L that he took in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's never been the same mentally. He's never been the same.
Yeah, I mean that'll do it to you because I mean I ain't trying to open on wounds, but there's another quarterback that hasn't been the same, Mr. Newton.
Well, Cam. Cam. Yeah, Cam.
He hasn't been the same either.
Cam. Yeah, no.
And it's so unfortunate too because it's so much talent. But like you said, like quarterbacks and running backs, like your shelf life is so quick.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the right system, like time doesn't work in your favor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Like I'm just thinking about it. Like there's so much potential. I mean, Matty hasn't been anything in like 3-4 years.
No,
Like,
I mean, I think there's been a constant decline
oh
over
yeah,
the I mean, when I say constant, I mean it's marked. Like you can visibly see
yeah,
his
and
skills
he had
erode.
weapons.
Yeah, and that's
You know what?
and
And he, some
look,
form of talent, one way or another, he had, and he
he's
couldn't
had
capitalize on none
no,
of that.
no, and I think he should just go ahead and save Indy, save the Indy fans, save the Indy team. Go ahead and give him
Oh, he
that
was
last
one and
year.
done anyway. I don't
Oh,
think
you
he
sure?
had like, yeah, I don't think it was a 2-year deal. I don't think he.
I
I
hope
think
not.
him and I really wanted Philip to come back one more season
And I think
because
Phillip would
I
have been a better
felt,
deal.
yeah, I felt like he did more in his tenure as a Colt than what Matt Ryan did as a Colt. Like
Right.
that
In
was
in
just
that short window, right?
that was wasted money.
Yeah.
Like they could have went and they could have dug and got somebody, but they didn't need him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So speaking of not needing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
every team needs
Right.
one, right? And every team has to have one.
Yeah.
At least, to be legit. And when I say have one, I'm talking about a legitimate number one.
You got me in my
And
feels right now with Adams in
yeah,
the
I know. Yeah, your guy left and became that silver and black. But number ones we talk about. Who is the number one wide receiver in the NFL? Is it Tyreek? Is it Stephon, Devontae? We know Jefferson just I believe he just won an award for wide receivers, and then there's Jamar Chase in Cincinnati, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing a few others, but those were the ones that really rose to the top to me. So who's the number one in your opinion, Sam, in the NFL?
We talked about it earlier. Like AJ Brown changed Philly's everything about Philly.
Yeah.
AJ Brown came over there and changed. I would have said Devontae Adams, but the only reason why I'm not saying Devontae Adams until he gets his number one as far as like a quarterback, because no disrespect against Derek Carr, but Derek Carr been washy for a minute now.
Yeah, he's been half and half. Yeah, I agree.
And then you think about it, like a lot of these. No. Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not knocking Devontae. He was the number one receiver in the league.
In the league.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
I think that's hands down.
Yeah,
hands
I'm not
down.
taking that away.
Right.
He had the most receptions, the most yards for the season. Not taking that away. But I'm talking about what type of, if Cliff's talking about his stats, what type of impact did Devontae have?
Because his stats didn't do nothing for the Raiders.
Exactly.
And so I agree with you there, because that's where I'm at. I will agree with Cliff. I think we can consensus number one.
Yeah.
Overall is Devontae Adams. Yeah, without questions. But I agree with you.
Impact to a team.
Right, exactly.
I would say AJ Brown, because as soon as he came over there and got traded and everything, the whole culture with that locker room or with that team changed. They got a swagger that's different than anybody that's playing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I would go with AJ Brown. I think he had the biggest impact on any team as a receiver that just like changed the culture. You know what I'm saying? Devontae moving to Vegas, that was good. And like it was cute. I would say that, because it was just like, hey, it's this reunion. I'm with my old college buddy. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't deliver the way that it should have.
Yeah.
Like if they would have came out here and they would have blazed that joint, I would be talking, as much as it would hurt me, I would sit here and I would be talking about Devontae Adams and what he did. But
agree.
Like AJ Brown and company are one win away from a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We're not having this conversation about Devontae and the Raiders. Will we ever in the near future have this conversation about Devontae and the Raiders?
It's possible.
It's possible. We probably would have it, but I don't think that is going to be with the Raiders.
I don't see him staying in the silver and black. That's just me personally. And just the sidetrack, looking at that team, the makeup of how the season started with the weapons, with Waller, Devontae, Jacobs in the backfield, the defense, So much of the wheel came off, or not even the wheels just fell off that whole boat. I
Yeah.
put that on the head coach. Look, I
Oh
think
yeah.
Josh McDaniels has never been a good coach.
No.
I don't think he'll ever be a good coach. And no knock on him. Sometimes it's just best to stay in your role, be a coordinator.
Yeah.
Do what you do best, and I think that's what he does best. So I think that was the demise of the Raiders from the start. Before the season even started, when he got there, it was over.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Mhm.
But I agree with you when I look at wide receivers. I kind of took so I agree with you, but I kind of took it from a reverse role in the sense that when I looked at teams this year that had number ones, um, if you took them away, how good would the team still be? And I'll
Mhm.
be honest with you, what it came down, I had two that were left to me: Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs. And when Jamar was out, Cincinnati was still able to stay afloat. T. Higgins and the rest of the crew,
Mhm.
pretty dope, pretty dope.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they stayed afloat and they forged their way ahead into the playoffs. When I look at Buffalo, if Stephon Diggs is gone, Buffalo's not the same team. They're just not the same team. And from that standpoint, um, that's outside of Devontae. I'm looking at impact guys.
Mhm.
I think that Stephon Diggs has to be in the conversation as one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide
Oh,
receiver.
I mean, he's definitely when you look at that apex. Well, yeah, I'd say that he's in the top five. So if I had to sit here
Has
and think top five right now, it would be Adams, Jefferson, Chase, Diggs, and like I said, I would have to go with
exactly, Cliff.
AJ Brown for right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a and
That's a valid point. You brought
there's
a
a lot
valid
of
point.
runner ups that could be there.
Right.
I can't knock CD Lamb. I can't
True.
Tyreek Hill is hard because Tyreek Hill could play anywhere on the field.
Anywhere on the field, he
You know what
can.
I'm saying?
And
So, you
and
know,
he brought Miami to a whole nother level. Him
yeah,
and not Claypool. What's the other young boy?
Waddle,
Waddle.
yeah.
They, but again, Tua. I just don't look. I have no trust in Tua.
They need a different quarterback.
I agree.
No
I agree.
disrespect against Tua, but Tua ain't it. You know
No,
what I'm
he's not.
saying?
He's not it.
And I would argue that with anybody. If you come over here and tell me that David Tua is going to be the future of Miami, I
I
would
agree.
disagree with you wholeheartedly. So
I look, me and you on the same page with that. But that was it. I just picked the opposite side because I looked at it from, and like Cliff said, I just don't think Buffalo would be Buffalo without Stephon Diggs and what he brings to the game. So that's why I put him uh above the others outside of Devontae. I put
mhm.
him above the others. Jamar was a close second because I think Jamar's a bad boy. When I look at Tyreek, some of the things when healthy
Mhm.
early on in the season
And
when
when he
they
has a healthy quarterback.
and when right because it was like they were playing a video game. Like
Yeah.
a couple of games like that Baltimore game when they were there, I cut the TV off. I think they
Hmm.
were down like 20. My
Right.
man called me. He like, yo, you watching this game? Whatever. I'm like, nah. He said, yo, Miami back in. And then when I went back and watched some of the tape, it was like a damn PS5 or whatever it
Yeah.
is, man. It was like a video game. So
Yeah. That
it
shit
was
got spicy real quick.
yeah, real
Because
quick.
it was like what just happened right here? Like,
Right. Right.
but the only reason uh, the only reason why I can't say, and I mean, it's no knock against him. I think it's just against the whole team of like, I'm really waiting on Buffalo to progress forward.
I think they
You
hit a
know what I'm
wall this year. I
saying?
agree with you. This year
They
I thought was
did.
good. I thought this year was supposed to be the year.
I figured that this year was going to be their redemption story.
Yeah, I was
You
with you.
know what I'm
I was
saying? They
with you.
came over there, they got washed by doggone Cincy, and it was like, all right, we're going to sit here and we're going to play makeup. But they
Yep.
had the few games that they lost, they were like super indecisive,
Yeah.
and
I
it
agree.
costed them. It costed them like momentum. And then the thing that happened to Harmon too, or Hamlin, like no disrespect against him, but I think that had like an effect too.
Oh yeah.
But like once again, like you already had like two back-to-back seasons. I don't want them to go down that rabbit hole um, of the Bills that we knew of old. You know what I'm saying? Going back like 4 years when it was like back to back to back to back championships, and then going to the Super Bowl and not delivering. Like they need to cross that hurdle. There's a lot of teams for next year that I don't think that they're going to be the same that they were this year. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean,
and Buffalo is one of them. You know what I'm saying?
I have a feeling that they're going to regress. I have a feeling that this is going to be the time that the regression actually kicks in.
Yeah.
But sometimes, though, regression is good because then all the eyes are not on you and the pressure is not on you.
Yeah, you don't have to sit here and worry about it.
And I agree. The Hamlin situation. I mean, look, that's tough. I think that was not only for football players, the NFL. That was just tough as Americans and fans just to watch and see. Like that was.
It was rough.
It was rough, bro. That was crazy.
The way it sat there and impacted, like I've never seen anything. Like I've seen nasty injuries because I used to play myself. I've seen nasty injuries on the field before, but I've never seen like somebody's life damn near get taken away from them.
And you hit it on the head.
You know what I'm saying?
Live on TV.
Live on TV.
Yeah, man, that was crazy.
It's a whole different story, and like it just hits you a particular way. So I knew. Like, of course there was going to be that rebound behind it, but I don't know, like moving forward, it's just going to be a challenge for Buffalo to sit here and move past that because, that's going to be weighing into the new season too.
Yeah.
And then of course it's just going to be like, what other adjustments are going to be there with the team?
Agreed.
Because it happens all the time. Like some of these players are going to be like, I've been here 2 years and I ain't got nothing, and it's time for me to take my talent somewhere else. So,
somewhere else.
I'm looking for a free agency is going to be big. Who's going to sit here and capitalize on that? Who's going to sit here and eat off of that? Those are. I don't want to say those are important, but
it is because
those are the areas. Yeah, those are the areas of concern.
It's personal choices. At the end of the day, I mean, they've got to, as people like to say, provide for their families and take advantage of opportunities.
Absolutely.
And speaking of next season, you touched on that. I'm curious to know, these three gentlemen, what's next? What's next for Lamar? AR-12 and Derek Carr. I'm curious to know from your perspective. Where do they go? Do they land somewhere else? Do they stay with the current teams that they're on? I know we don't have no crystal ball, but these are three of the top quarterbacks that look like they're going to be available. So what are your thoughts?
So, if out of the three, the only one that I could see actually staying somewhere is going to be Lamar in Baltimore if he stays in Baltimore. The other two, I think that Derek Carr could probably get picked up for cheap. Green Bay already made their demands. They're not going to sit here and have him play somewhere in the NFC.
Right.
I don't know. He went on like this 4-day blackout,
what's that
mushroom tour?
Ayuka or what?
Yeah, he went on he's on a 4-day journey right now.
He's going to get high.
Yeah, and he said that he was going to make his decision after that. Look, this stuff like this is the reason why free agents didn't come to Green Bay last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Good
because
point.
he waited damn near till June when players were going to go to their initial training or training camp to be like, all right, well, I'll be back. And that's going to – I'm tired. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm exhausted.
You ready to move on from him?
And I hate to say that because, my wife would tell you, I've been AR-12 my whole life. You know what I'm saying?
I know. As long as I've known you.
Yeah, it's been one thing and one thing only, and that's AA Ron. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I just can't.
Ooh, good one, Cliff.
I just can't sit here, and I don't want to deal with that heartache. So I'd rather just go ahead and cut my losses down and move on. Like Jordan Love, pick up a quarterback in the draft and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and cut losses. Maybe Derek Carr, because don't nobody want him. We could pick him up on free agency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or trade Aaron to Vegas for some type of no.
He won't do it, Cliff.
No.
He and He and I have had many a backroom conversation. It ain't happening.
We're not playing that game. Trey Aaron, he could go to Vegas, and that's a question: what are teams going to be willing to give up with a 39-year-old?
Exactly, because that
You know
window's
what I'm saying?
passed. Any
Yeah.
value is passed. Not saying he still can't play,
Hmm.
and it's not that he still doesn't have
He can
value,
play
but
all day.
right,
He can play all day, and that's fine. But what are teams are going to be willing to give up, and like, how successful will they be after that too?
right.
So, like, there's a couple of things. I think that it's just time
No,
because
it's time to move on. Time for him
yeah,
to go somewhere else.
yeah. Just in general, it's just time. It's no disrespect. It's a young man game, and we saw it this year.
Yep,
You know
yep,
what I'm saying? There's a lot of talent as far as quarterbacks. There's a
yeah.
lot of talent coming out of college. So, and I hate to say that, but Rogers and
And
Adams.
Adams on the Jets.
All right.
You know,
Hey, look.
yo, stranger things have happened,
Hey, look.
but
Y'all
I
remember
don't
what
see that
happened to
happen.
Brett Favre when he went to the
Exactly. You
Jets?
know what? Yeah, that was a train wreck, and
You know what I'm
he got
saying?
smashed. He got
Yeah,
smashed.
my man came up blurple that one game, and
Yep.
he was like reconsidering life decisions. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want to see that happen to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. I think Derek Carr. I don't know because I think with Derek Carr, you just need the right program,
So
and you need the right coach with him. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm going to agree with what you just said right there, and I'm going to go back, Cliff, real quick. So Cliff threw out put Lamar on Tennessee with Derrick Henry. That would be a problem. And you know what? That's one team that I did not have in any equation.
Mm.
Now, funny enough, Lamar, um, and a lot of people are saying Atlanta.
No.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I don't know where that's coming from, but a lot of people I know they're saying, and you read in the news and the media, those who are professionally paid to do this,
Mm.
because the comments made by Sam and I tonight on Two Mics Up, we cannot be held liable for. I call it bullish because it's not happening. There's no way Lamar is going to Atlanta. It's just no way. Now, funny enough, I will say I can see Lamar in New Orleans right now. Derek Carr has been making stops in New Orleans, and I'm going to say this out loud because although Derek Carr is iffy from time to time, I would like to see Derek Carr in a New York Giants uniform. I think that's an
Why?
upgrade over Danny Dimes. Look, Danny Dimes. Look, we had 5 years.
Him and
We
Danny
had,
Dimes are the same caliber. Like, don't do that to yourself,
look,
bro.
no, look, man, look. The only difference is Danny Dimes can run, and a lot of times he's running
Oh,
because his life depends on it. Because
which is true.
the one thing we haven't done in 12 years is fix our offensive line.
Which is true.
But
But you know who can't run? Derek Carr. So you don't want.
I'm just saying, look.
Hey, look, if that pocket pressure gets to him, it's going to be a wrap.
Man, look, I don't know. I would just feel more comfortable with that. Or Lamar is not a bad second choice, but I know Lamar is not coming to New York. So, and with Aaron, I think a change of scenery is going to happen. I
Which is
feel
true.
like you and all of the Green Bay fans and friends that I have, and just Green Bay period. You guys, I think you guys are just tired of the song and dance.
Mm-hmm.
He did put you in a hole this year, and he's doing it again this year by this whole get high trip or this whole blackout trip or whatever he's calling it. I think it's time for a change, and I honestly see him. Funny enough, I do see him going to LA. To Las Vegas. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know how or why, but that seems to be the most logical destination for him, and it's logical in the sense that if their ownership and their coach can get on board, I believe they signed Waller, the tight end. He's there for a while. Re-sign Josh Jacobs because he deserves the money, and some of the other wide receivers and some of the defensive talent. I think LA could be a quarterback away, such as A-Rod, because I do think I really believe he does have one, maybe, and this is pushing it, maybe 2 good years left in him, and I think Las Vegas could really use that to at least put them in the mix,
It
give
will
them a
put them in.
legitimate.
It will put them in the mix. But I'm gonna tell you right now that it would cost more for Vegas getting Aaron and they will be right back where they're at, if not worse, when it comes to the season. There's gonna have to be a lot that they give up in order to gain Aaron Rodgers, and they probably will throw the kitchen sink at him, thinking that if they get him and Devontae back together as that 1-2, that everything will be all right. Well, I'm telling you, if they give up like 4 or 5 players, like decent, I would say like C plus, like B players, for Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be right back in the same hole that they were this past season, if not more.
And Cliff, I agree with you. He has to be on a team with nice.
And the Raiders don't have it. We already know that.
We already know that. We do.
Unless they sit here and try to draft it, and they're probably going to have to give up some draft picks along with some players too in order to get Aaron Rodgers. They will not have nothing. So with that being said, who else is there for him to go to?
And that's the $1 million question. Because oddly enough, we're leaving out a team that does have a decent O-line.
Does it start with a J?
No, it actually starts with a T. And the man just retired. And they still have pieces in place on offense.
He's not going to Tampa. He's not going.
I don't think he is either. But, the strangest of things do happen. I agree with you. I don't say, okay, Cliff, I give you that. So San Fran is a shot,
Aaron,
but I don't think
Aaron came over there and already said he's not going to San Fran.
Yeah, I don't think that was happening.
And if Green Bay trades him, they're not trading him to an NFC team.
Well, they already said that. Yeah,
there's no way. Yeah. There's no way unless they give up a lot.
Yeah, they're giving up. They're giving up their next born.
Yeah, and San Fran trying to sit here and be a contender next year. So I mean, only thing they need is they could get a dishwasher boy to fill in as quarterback in San Fran. just long as he's healthy.
As long as he doesn't get hurt in the championship game, they got a chance to win.
Just long as he sit there and he's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got both your legs and can you throw the ball all right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
He will be fine. You know what I'm saying? But San Fran, they're not going to give up that much. There's no way.
I love it, man. So look, we're coming towards the end. I appreciate it, man. Having a good time. But I'm going to ask. I think we both answered this early on in the top of the hour, or the previous hour, I should say. But what it's the Super Bowl weekend. We got to have winners and losers, and we have to have a final score.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you, Sam, who are you taking this weekend to take home the chip, and what's your final score?
I already said Philly, and I will say Philly 37-31.
And see, I like it because, and we didn't talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, but I myself, along with Sam, I went along with the Eagles. Fly, Philly, fly. All my cousins and anybody watching this, whatever. Get you a cheesesteak. But I'm going with the Eagles on this one. They're taking home the trophy, 32-26. I think this is going to be. I hope. I shouldn't say I think. I hope that this is a great game. I hope it keeps us there to the fourth quarter, because Sam and I already talked about it. If halftime comes and this one's a blowout, I'm watching Riri and I'm done. I'm going to go play pickleball out in the streets with the kids. I'm done with it. And Cliff, he's taking Philly 24-17. I think right now, I think consensus is. And the one thing I do want to throw in, and I will be remiss. So, Kansas City has done this before, right? They've had the experience recently of being in the big game. And I don't want to diminish that. So I do believe experience does help. But like we said earlier, the talent across all three levels of the game that's played, I think Philly is by far, in a way, greater. But that's why I kept it to, the window, that 6-point window. Because I want to be respectful. I don't want to dismiss Andy Reid. I don't want to dismiss Patrick Holmes. And like I said, I'm like you. I just pray that we have a great game on Sunday. Cause if not, I'm gonna be mad as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be pissed off.
Hey, look, I ain't even gonna be mad. I'm gonna be eating good, drinking good. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is at this point. But like I said, like if it's anything, there's no reason for Philly not
No, there's no
to
reason.
be. There's no reason.
No reason.
And if it becomes like a little fugazi, I'm gonna be like, "What's happening right now?" Like somebody scripted this, like that they call Martin Scorsese to sit here and write the script of the Super Bowl. But there's no, unless they want one of those glorious like comeback stories, like
I agree.
Kansas City was down and out. You know what I'm
I
saying? It was dismal. You know,
I agree, bro.
there's no reason for Philly not to be champs.
Yeah, there's no reason that they should not be.
I don't even want to sit here and claim it, but it is what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying? So
it is what it is, and I'm agreement with you, bro. Like, and you're right, Cliff. It should not be, should not give up 31 points. So I agree.
Yeah.
And right, if it does, not. It was all fixed. It was rigged. Somebody's paying somebody some heavy payola money, and yeah, it shouldn't even be close. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say that's a wrap. I want to thank my brother Sam for always jumping in here with me, man, and just talking football. Stay tuned. We're continuing our Black History Month series, Real Talk. And Sam is going to be back at the end of this month, joining me in that conversation with some other friends and some other kings. Shout out, to Mikey. Shout out to Woe, for sitting down, man. I'm still working on that conversation because we had so much, and it was so much information and so much dialogue, man. Yo, Cliff, love you too, bro.
Hey, love you too, man.
And salute to you, man. Hey, and shout out to you and your guys, man. CSC, y'all doing your thing with your show, your podcast. Anybody that's looking for realtor information, insurance information, lender information, check out my brother Cliff, man, and his
very
guys,
informative.
Man. Yeah, very informative, man. It's very informative. Check them out, man. Support them. This is what we do. And Cliff showing some love. Cliff is also a sponsor here, 2 Mics Up. So I appreciate it, man. This is just how we do. There's enough room out here for everybody, y'all. So share the love, spread the love. Shout out to Cliff and thank you for joining us. But like I said, Sam is going to come back at the end of the month. Stay tuned for that. The Black History Month series. He's going to be helping close that conversation out. And like I said, we recorded a couple of weeks ago. I'm still trying to chop that one up, man. We was here for about 2 hours, and there was just so much great information. So I'm going to work on that. And whatever you do this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your family, have a good time, enjoy the game, drink responsibly. You know what I'm saying? And just do what you do. Before we go, Sam, any information, anything you want to share before we go, bro? I want to go ahead and give you your 30 seconds, a minute of shine, to say anything before we close up.
Like I said, always, man, it's always a pleasure to sit here and be on here with you. So I ain't got no issues. Y'all know me. In my spare time, I sit here and try to game. I'll probably be on a little bit of Dead Space in Division 2 this weekend. If you want to hop on with me, like I said, look for Osarge Gaming. I'll probably be on tomorrow afternoon, and we just sit here, have a good time, talk a little bit, and just shoot the breeze. That's it.
Yeah, what he means is bring your beverage, because Sam's gonna give you the business.
Oh yeah.
For those of y'all who don't know Sam's gonna give you the business, and but he's a great gentleman. I appreciate you, Sam, as always, man. Love you, brother. And we're gonna have more time to catch up next month. We get our little retreat weekend in, and we
already know what it is.
You already know what it is. So that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. It's your man damednydc, 2 Mics Up. You can follow me on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at damednydc. You can also follow 2 Mics Up on social media at 2 Mics Up. We are on IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube if you're watching this tonight. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and go over to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go ahead and hit that bell so you can be notified by all the newest content coming from us to you here at 2 Mics Up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And most important thing in Black History Month, if you want to help support a Black business, totally free, watch one video All I ask you to do is go ahead and watch one video. Go ahead and help the channel out. You know, we're getting real close to monetizing. So go ahead, spread the word, watch one video. And like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back. Oh, and I'll be remiss if I leave this out. We coming back in April, season 5. Who would have knew? I never thought I'd be doing season 5. But hey, we coming back. I want to thank you all for your continued support. And like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, may you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out. Sam, I'll be talking to you soon, bro.
All right, be easy now.
All right, easy, y'all.
007.